Hi BG 5th grade, this is Miss K-Rod. I'm going to be talking to you guys about what we are going to learn this week in math. This is just an introduction about the different concepts we are going to learn. The first concept we are going to talk about today is a budget. We have to know what a budget is. A budget is a plan used to decide the amount of money that can be spent and saved for a given period of time. The given period of time that we are mostly going to be talking about is monthly. Most people make monthly budgets for the money they receive and the money they spend. Sometimes you can also make a yearly budget. Before we get really in depth about what a budget is, we're going to talk about the differences between income and expenses. So, the first word, income. What is income? Income is money that you receive, money coming in the door. Remember it as being money coming in, money you receive. So for example, I am a teacher, so I receive money for the job that I do. That is income. Another example is your allowance. Do you rake the leaves, mow the lawn? Do you do the dishes and receive money in return for doing these chores? If you do, that's your income. Your allowance is your income. What about birthday money? Have you ever received money from an aunt or an uncle? That is also income. Now that we know what income is, we're going to talk about expenses. Now that you have this money coming in, your income, of course you want to spend it, right? So your expenses is money you spend. Money that you spend within a month, within a year, any kind of money that you spend. So if you spend money on food, gas, your phone, those are all expenses. So in order to create a budget and keep a balanced budget, you have to make sure that your expenses do not exceed your income. In order to have a balanced budget, the income and the expenses have to match. You cannot spend more money on your expenses than the money that you receive over that given period of time. Now that we know the differences between income and expenses, we're going to look at William's monthly budget. This is also called a financial record. Now let's look at William's monthly budget. You see one column that has income. You see the other column has expenses. Now, notice the period of time that we are looking at. We're looking at a monthly budget. In the left column, we see that William has his income, and on the right, he has his expenses. Let's look at his income. Allowance is $40. Babysitting is $18.50. Yard work is $6. Washing cars is $15. Now, let's look at his expenses on the right. He has an expense for savings. Why is savings an expense? Think about that. He has $20 for that. He has snacks, which is $26.38. He went to the movies, probably with a friend, $25.75. And he makes a donation of $16.50. I want you to answer these two questions. What is William's total income for the month? And what is William's total expenses for the month? Now we know that William's income is $79.50 and his expenses are $88.63. If you remember, I said that expenses should not exceed or go above or be more than your income. Let's look at this. Are William's expenses more than his income? Look back at William's income. How much did he make? He made $79.50. Now let's look at his expenses. He is spending $88.63. Is $88.63 more than $79.50? Yes, it is. So, did William create a balanced budget? A balanced budget is when expenses are equal to income. It's also known as a zero budget. Do William's expenses equal his income or do they exceed his income? William did not create a balanced budget. How much more money does William need to pay for all of his expenses? I want you to think about this question and solve it on your own.